The last demo I want to show here with respect to collection view sources is how you can use it to drive a master details presentation of related collections and objects. My starting point here is a basic WPF project. Only thing going on ahead of time is some data access code in the code behind the window populating a customer's property that we're going to be data binding to. When I populate customers, notice I'm also drilling down and getting the related orders, the related order items for the orders, and the related product for the order item using Entity Framework. I can go into the designer and the data sources window, and I've already added data sources for our entity objects we're going to be working with here. As we've seen in the previous model, I can start at the root level with the customer, drag and drop, and generate a grid. I'm going to resize that grid to fit towards the top here. Now, for the related orders and order items, it might be tempting to drag out from this level, but if you do, you're generating a data grid that's bound to an independent collection of orders or order items. What you want to do is drill down to the property on a customer that is the orders collection related to that customer. Do your drag and drop from there, and the designer will do the right thing, which we'll show the code for in a moment, to generate a different collection view source, but to tie that collection view source to the parent collection view source. Likewise, I can drill down another level to order items, drag that out, and have that related to the parent orders collection. And then we could go one level down to the related product, switch that to use the details view, and generate a little data form for the current product. And I won't worry about the fact that it's being clipped off there. With that code in place, it also generated the loaded event handler. And all I got to do is go set the source property for the root customer view source to my customers collection that I populated on construction. So with that in place, I can run and notice that we have the not very well laid out, but we have customers up above. Whatever customer I select, we're seeing the orders for that customer in the next grid down. Whatever order I select, I'm seeing the order details, and whatever order detail I select, I'm seeing the related product. So a typical chained master details kind of setup, all in seconds with drag and drop. Now let's look at the XAML that it generated, because that's where all the action is. And the magic key really has to do with these collection view sources. The first one was generated from the drag and drop of the customer entity type. And we've talked through that before, that it sets it up, says it's going to be dealing with customer, and that's the one that we're populating from the code behind at runtime. Where the master details happens here is notice the source of the second one it generated for orders. It's set to a binding whose source is explicitly set to be the collection view source up above for the customers. That customer's collection is going to have a current item in it, as we've talked about before, and that current item is going to have an orders property. So the path on this binding is to the orders property of the current item in that collection. Likewise, for the order items view source, it's pointing to the orders view source and to the order items property on the current item in that orders view source. Notice there's not a separate collection view source for the product. When it generated the grid containing the data entry fields for the product, it set the data context for that grid to the order items view source, which again is going to have a current item that's an order item. And then it generated the bindings on the individual fields to use the property product.description, product.hasOptions, and so on. So you can see through the currency that's managed by an iCollection view, which a collection view source has under the covers, whenever the current item changes, if there's another collection view source that's bound to that collection and the current item, it can get to the properties of that current item and use that to drive a separate collection view source, and so on down the chain.